Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my 2020 BookTube Prize Quarterfinals TBR video. I'm kind of skirting the line about what is appropriate to talk about here because the quarterfinals officially started at the beginning of the month, and we're not supposed to be giving our thoughts about the books as we read them. But I haven't started reading my books yet. I wanted to get this video out first just as a preliminary cheerleader waving pom-poms thing, just to talk about my love for this prize yet again. Just a few days ago I did my whole reaction to judging the octafinals, but I have a whole new batch of books that I have to read before the end of May to judge for the quarterfinals. So a little bit of background information. The BookTube Prize was started by Robert at Barter Hordes. This is the second year of the prize. We have two divisions this year in fiction and nonfiction, and I signed up to be eligible, I guess, for either of those categories, but the algorithm put me in nonfiction both times. What we have here, what we start with at the beginning of the year, is 48 titles in each division that were published in 2019 in the US. They're divided off into groups of 6, and we have judges who read the books over 2 months and rank them, 1 being best and 6 being worst, and the top 3 books of each group move on to the next round. So we're in the quarterfinals now, where we're doing 24 books in both divisions, so 48 overall. And then next round will be the semifinals, and then the finals, and then we'll get the winner. Okay, brief interlude, because my sister called when I was in the middle of doing all of that, and she had a video chat open with my almost 2-year-old nephew to say goodnight, so... And now my cat wants some attention too, so lots happening around here during coronavirus time. But anyway, I guess I'm about ready, once I make sure this cat is happy, to go on to giving a quick thoughts of all of the books in my new category. So here they are. Alright, so here are some preliminary thoughts of what I know about the books, or don't know about the books really. Just starting with Solitary by Alfred Woodfox and Charged by Emily Bazelon. I hadn't heard of either of these books before the quarterfinals, but they do seem to have similar subject matter. Solitary is about a man, I believe, wrongly accused of murder, living for 45 years in solitary in the US prison system. And Charged is about the country's broken criminal justice system. And I believe more specifically the move to end mass incarceration. On the opposite side of the spectrum is Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb, a book I've definitely heard of before. And in fact, when we were putting together the long list back in January, I was one of the people to email Robert and say, "Where is this book? We have to have it on here." I even stated in one of my earlier BookTube videos that I was hoping I might be able to read it for the BookTube Prize, and what do you know? The day has come! So I've been excited for quite a while and encouraged by good reviews both online and offline. So I have a bit of a problem here, I guess, in that I have some inherent bias already built up toward this book. So my big challenge will be to try to ignore all of that and go into it as neutral as I can and judge it how I would any other book. The second book I know the most about is Underland by Robert McFarlane. I believe I first heard about it due to last year's Goodreads Choice Awards. And I was doing a little bit of a deep dive into nonfiction just out of curiosity to see what was out there, and it caught my eye. And I think I even talked about it in one of my literary newsletters as a, hey, maybe I should try and pick this up. So, that being said, I guess I'm still a little unsure as to the breakdown of this book. Is it more about studying myths, human myths about the underworld, or is it more about exploring archaeological sites? Or maybe both. Both subjects intrigue me a lot. think I lied a little bit just then, actually, because probably the book I've heard about just as much as Maybe You Should Talk to Someone is How to Be an Anti-Racist. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this is a next step in a conversation started in our literary history by the greats like James Baldwin about, or more accurately, confronting America's, I assume, continued failures, frankly, when it comes to how we approach race. It might be the most buzzy on here in terms of being an important book, so I'm eager to give it a try. And finally, Parkland by David Cullen, which I've also heard of before. And I actually got immediate access to this one through my overdrive through the library. I'll be reading it as an ebook, which is something I don't usually do, but you know, circumstances being what they are and libraries being closed, I gotta take what we can get here, and I'm just so grateful I was able to get a copy so quickly. So Parkland, you know, the town, the school, it's been famous ever since the shooting, the school shooting, which is sadly so ubiquitous in American culture these days. But this one in particular became famous because of a small group of students who turned into activists. And I believe this might be more about the gun control movement more than what happened there that day, and I'm curious to get a deeper look into that. So I have Parkland already through my library on ebook, and just recently I got physical access to 2 more of the books, so I should be good to go with my April reading. The first one here is Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. I actually ordered this from one of my local indies, East City Bookshop, and you know, as part of my supporting indies during coronavirus. I also ordered it because, as I've been saying, I'm the most biased toward it. It's the one that's been of the most interest to me, and I think it'll also be interesting to my mom and my sister. I'll probably be lending it out to them once I can see them again. And then we have Charged by Emily Bazelon, which I got through a vendor on Abe's Books. I'm so glad it could get to me so soon, especially since this was the one that was absolutely not available through my library's digital holdings, either audiobook or ebook. So because of coronavirus and not having access to interlibrary loan, I really could only buy it. I mean, so I'm really glad that it's here. And then I thought I might just give you a silly quick little look at the holds section of my 2 libraries. This one is Montgomery County, Maryland, where I live. And so I have everything here on hold, the rest of the books, although it seems like I have to wait a while for any of them. And I actually did order from Abe's Books, another vendor, a copy of Solitary, so I'm hoping that one will get to me relatively quickly. And here is my DC library, because I'm able to have a library card with DC as well. So I basically have the same books on hold as however they're available through the holdings. So these ones, I believe, they're all a little bit quicker, the holds lists, of fewer weeks. Oh. And I'm wrong, actually, looking at it more closely. It's the Montgomery ones that are a little quicker, and that hopefully will get to me a little bit sooner. So there's that. But I'm definitely hoarding my holds here, basically. I'd like to think I'm being as dedicated as I can be to the BookTube prize. And of course, once I get any copy of any of these books, I'll go ahead and let go of all the rest. But I'm committed. Okay, so that about covers it for me now. I will leave the Goodreads links to all of these book pages down below. And this is the last that I will be talking in depth about the quarterfinals, I promise. I will be back in a couple of days to do Friday reads, and like I did with the octafinals, I'll probably mention that I'm about to start a book, but that's all I'll say about it. But it's my quiet little hoorah to continuing along with the BookTube prize. Anywho, I hope that all of my fellow judges are as excited or as intrigued by the books and their groups as I am, and I'm looking forward to that time in 2 months when we'll get the barrage of videos again of people's responses to these books. So make it good, guys. Now seriously, I've enjoyed all of the videos, even whether or not I've agreed with the judges on their opinions. It's just been so fascinating. I say this all the time, just to see how differently people read books. So I'm holding that in my mind as a, you know, a thing to look forward to in these times when it seems like we're waiting for things to look forward to again on this earth. So, on that note, I guess I'm gonna go. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.